Hey, picture this for a second. It's a random Wednesday evening. You're 29 or 31, whatever. You finally drag yourself through the door after work, kick your shoes off with that little sigh of relief, and without even thinking, you grab your phone and open the banking app like it's muscle memory. Paycheck hit 2 days ago. For those first few hours, it felt pretty good, you know? But now you're staring at the balance and you're thinking, where the hell did it all go? Rent, groceries, that random Amazon purchase you don't even remember clicking buy on, and maybe a couple happy hours that turned into full nights out. Your savings account is just sitting there with maybe 2 or 3 grand in it. It's not zero, which is something cent, but it's definitely not the I've got my life together number you always pictured you'd have by now. And then it hits you, this quiet little panic right in the middle of your chest. Am I behind? Shouldn't I have more figured out by 35? Man, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That weird mix of exhaustion and this low-key dread that creeps in when you realize time is moving way faster than your money ever has. Most of us in our late 20s and early 30s, we're just grinding, paying off student loans that feel endless, maybe still crashing with roommates, or finally living alone for the first time. You're scrolling through your feed, watching friends buy houses or jet off on trips, while you're sitting there wondering if you can even swing upgrading your phone this year. And the craziest part? Nobody ever actually sits you down and tells you the real moves that matter before 35. Not the flashy Instagram stuff. Not the hustle harder memes. I'm talking about the quiet ones. The ones that separate the people who wake up at 40 actually feeling in control from the ones who are still stressed about the exact same stuff they were at 28. My name is Max, and I spend way too much time thinking about money, about human psychology, and why some people build real momentum while others stay stuck in the same exhausting cycle for years. And I've been obsessed with this ever since my own messy late 20s. Back then, I had a decent salary but zero real direction. I'd watch friends either quietly pull ahead or quietly fall behind, even though we all started in pretty much the same place. I've made some dumb mistakes. I've had those oh crap moments where my stomach just dropped. But I've also seen what happens when you make the right moves early, not perfect ones, just the major ones. And here's what I really want you to hear right now. 35 isn't some magical deadline or anything, but it is this incredibly powerful window. Your brain is still sharp, your energy is high, responsibilities aren't crushing you yet, and most importantly, time is still very much on your side in a way it just won't be when you hit 40. The decisions you make or don't make in the next few years, they create this compounding effect that can either lift you up for decades or leave you playing catch up for the rest of your life. What I'm going to walk you through today isn't a bunch of random tips. These are the handful of major money moves that, if you start doing them before 35, can completely change the whole direction of your financial life. Not overnight, not with any lottery ticket energy, but with this steady, almost boring consistency that feels almost unfair when you look back at 40 or 50. So if you're sitting there feeling a little behind, or even if you're doing okay, but you know deep down you could be doing way better, stick with me. By the end of this, you're going to have a clear map, not some overwhelming plan, and just the actual moves that matter most. And honestly, even starting just one or two can shift everything. Let's dive in. And the first major move, and I'm starting here because this is where so many of us get quietly wrecked, is to ruthlessly kill high interest debt before it kills your future. I'm not talking about your mortgage or a normal car loan. I'm talking about credit card debt, those buy now pay later things that sneak up on you, personal loans sitting at 15 or 20%. That stuff is straight up financial quicksand. Let me paint a real picture. Imagine you've got $8,000 on a credit card at 22% interest. You make the minimum payments maybe $200 a month. On paper, it feels kind of manageable. But fast forward 2 years and you've paid almost $5,000 in interest alone, and the balance is still basically the same, just sitting there laughing at you. It's brutal. And the psychology of it is even worse. You feel stuck. You avoid checking the number. Every extra dollar you earn gets sucked right into that same black hole instead of building anything for you. And I had a friend, let's call him Alex, who was making solid money in his early 30s, around 85,000 a year. But he was carrying about 14,000 in credit card debt from some rough years after college and a bit of lifestyle creep. He kept telling himself, "I'll pay it off when I get the next raise." The raise came. The debt stayed. And by the time he hit 34, he was stressed every single month, like this constant knot in his gut. Then one day he finally sat down, faced the numbers, and went all in. Whatever method clicked for him, debt snowball, avalanche, and didn't matter. He threw every extra dollar at it. Within 18 months, it was gone. And suddenly that same salary felt twice as big because interest wasn't eating it alive anymore. Here's the simple breakdown. And anything above 7 or 8% interest is usually bad debt that needs to die first. List it all out. Hit the highest interest or smallest balance first, whichever keeps you motivated. Cut expenses hard for a season. Pick up a side hustle if you have to, but get it to zero before you start throwing serious money into investments. Why? Because paying off 18% debt is literally the same as earning an 18% guaranteed return on your money. You won't find that anywhere else. And once it's gone, you free up all this mental space and actual cash flow for the next moves. Second big move is building yourself a real emergency fund. Not $1,000, not whatever's left at the end of the month. And I'm talking 3 to 6 months of your actual living expenses sitting in a high-yield savings account, completely separate from your checking. Most people in their early 30s have maybe a couple grand just in case. But life doesn't send small problems. It hits you with a car repair that costs $1,800 out of nowhere, or a surprise medical bill, or that month you get laid off right before your cousin's destination wedding. Without the fund, you either slide right back into debt or you spend months stressed out, eating ramen and drowning in anxiety. With it, you get to handle stuff from a place of calm instead of panic. I remember when I finally built mine. I was 31. It took me about 14 months of automatic transfers and saying no to a bunch of dumb stuff. But the first time something actually broke, my laptop died right before this huge work presentation. I just transferred the money, bought a new one, and kept moving. No late fees, no spiraling. That feeling of relief, worth every single sacrifice it took to get there. Start with 1 month's expenses if 6 feels impossible. Then 2, then keep going. Automate it so you never even see the money, and put it somewhere that's actually earning 4 or 5% instead of 0.02% in a regular bank. Move number 3, this is where things start to feel exciting. Start investing seriously and let compound interest do the heavy lifting for you. This is the one that honestly keeps me up at night thinking about how much time we waste. I don't know why it took me so long to really get it. And let me give you the numbers so it hits you the same way it hit me. According to the latest Federal Reserve data, the median net worth for people under 35 is right around $39,000. Median retirement savings, and about $19,000. That's the middle. Half of people your age have even less. But here's what happens if you start early. Imagine 2 people. Person A puts away $100 every month starting at age 25 and does it for 10 years, then stops but leaves the money invested at a conservative 7% average return. Person B waits until 35 and then tries to catch up. By age 65, person A, who only invested for 10 years, ends up with around $584,000. Person B, even investing more aggressively later, ends up with roughly $217,000. Same effort in theory, completely different outcome because of time. That 10-year head start is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's not fair. It's just math. You don't need to be a genius investor. Open a Roth IRA or a 401k. Max whatever your employer matches first. That's literally free money. Then put the rest into low-cost index funds that track the market. Even $300 a month starting now, before 35 changes your entire retirement picture. And the best part? Once you automate it, you stop thinking about it, and the money just works quietly in the background while you live your actual life. Fourth major move, and dramatically increase your earning power instead of just obsessing over cutting expenses. Saving is important, but at some point you hit a ceiling on how much you can cut. There is no ceiling on how much you can earn. Think about it. Most people in their 30s are still making close to whatever they earned in their mid-20s, maybe plus a couple small raises. The ones who pull ahead treat their income like a skill they actively level up. And they negotiate every raise. They learn high income skills, coding, sales, copywriting, data analysis, whatever fits their field. They start small side businesses or freelance on the side. And they switch jobs every 2 to 3 years when the market actually pays more. I had a season around 30 where I realized I was comfortable but not growing. I spent 6 months learning a new skill in my industry, updated my resume, and switched companies. My salary jumped 35% in one move. That extra money didn't go to lifestyle creep, it went straight into investments and the emergency fund. And that single decision probably added hundreds of thousands to my net worth over time. Ask for the raise, take the course, build the side hustle. Your future self at 40 will thank you every single month when those deposits hit. And fifth move, be extremely intentional and honestly a little paranoid about your big purchases. The house, the car, the wedding. These are the ones that can quietly derail you for years. I'm not saying never buy a house, but buying too much house too early with too little down payment in a market that stretches you thin, that's how people end up house poor at 34 with nothing left to invest. Same with cars. And that $45,000 truck with the fancy payments feels cool for about 3 months, and then it's just a rolling money pit. And weddings, man, and I've seen couples drop $40,000 on one day and then spend the next 5 years paying it off, while their friends who did a backyard thing are already investing. The rule I try to live by. And make sure any big purchase leaves you room to keep hitting the other moves. Debt-free, emergency fund full, investing consistently. If it doesn't, wait or find a cheaper version. And your 35-year-old self wants options more than he wants status symbols. Sixth, protect what you're building. Get the right insurance. Build your credit like it's a superpower. And for the love of everything, get a basic will or at least make your beneficiary designations current. Health insurance, life insurance if anyone depends on you, disability insurance if your job doesn't cover it. These feel boring until the day you need them. A single uncovered medical event or accident can wipe out years of progress. I know it sounds dramatic, but I've watched it happen to people who thought it won't happen to me. And your credit score? Treat it like your financial reputation. Pay everything on time. Keep utilization low. It saves you tens of thousands in interest over your lifetime and opens doors when you actually need them. Last big move before 35, and this one might be the most important. Shift your entire money mindset from I deserve this now to I'm building something bigger. Delay gratification on purpose. Automate everything good. Savings, investing, bill pay so you don't have to use willpower every month. Surround yourself with people who are also playing the long game. Read the books, listen to the podcasts, but more importantly, just start acting like the version of you who already has this handled. I know it sounds simple, but this mindset shift is what makes all the other moves stick. And it turns, I'll start next month into this is just what I do now. So let's bring it all together. Before you turn 35, the major money moves that actually matter are kill the high interest debt, build the emergency fund, start investing like your future depends on it because it does, grow your income aggressively, be smart about the big purchases, protect what you have, and change how you think about money from the inside out. None of this is sexy. None of it will get you 1 million followers overnight. But if you do even half of these things consistently in the next few years, you will look back at 35 and feel something most people never feel. quiet confidence that your money is working for you instead of the other way around. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to start. And pick one move today. Maybe it's opening that high yield savings and setting up the first automatic transfer. Maybe it's listing out your debt and making the first extra payment. And maybe it's finally opening that Roth IRA and putting in $50 this month. Whatever it is, just begin, because here's the quiet truth. The years before 35 are when the game is still easy to change. And after that, it gets harder. Not impossible, just harder. The people who make these moves don't end up with perfect lives. They just end up with options. They sleep better. They fight less about money with their partner. And they get to say yes to opportunities their friends have to say no to. They get to retire with dignity instead of panic. You've got time right now. Not unlimited time, but real powerful time. Use it. The version of you at 40, at 50, at 65, they're all watching. And they're rooting for you to make the moves while they're still easy. If this hit you in any way, do me a favor. Drop a comment with which move you're going to tackle first. I read every single one and I love hearing the real stories. And if you want more deep dives on any of these topics, let me know in the comments too. I make these videos for people exactly like you. People who are smart, who work hard, but who just never got the real map. Thanks for spending this time with me. I know it was a long one, but I hope it felt worth it. You've got this. Start small, stay consistent, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.